Welcome to the Oklahoma Venture Forum podcast. I'm your host, Lindsay Miller, founder of My Marketing Assistant. And today joining me is one of our pitch presenters for our November luncheon, Joseph Meyers of Bayblock. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So tell me about Bayblock.
Bayblock is a company I founded. I actually invented the ZAC. The ZAC is an instrument, a device that detects a fall when somebody's in fall protection, and it actually alerts up to 5 people when somebody falls.
ZAC is an interesting name for this belt.
Yeah. Whenever I started building the website, I had it built by a company, and so I was going to call it Bayblock, and I was going to sell Bayblocks. Of course, you're in marketing. You know what happened. I got a call on Saturday, and he said, "You really need to call your product something else. What do you call it? Differentiate your product." Mm-hmm. I said, "Okay, I'm horrible with names." So I thought about it all Saturday morning, and thought about it, and I thought, I don't know how to do that. So Sunday morning come around, and I woke up, and Miranda, my wife, was sitting at the kitchen table, and she always has the Bible open. We read the Bible and before we go to church. And I told her, I said, "Honey," I said, "we're going to have to call it something else." Right? She looked straight up from her Bible, and she said, "We'll call it Zacchaeus. He was the guy in the tree." So I knew then that, it was a kind of a special name, and I thought, okay, yeah, we'll call it the ZAC and shorten it up, and that's what we did. I mean,
that's perfect.
Yeah, and it's a very, very good product to tell people certain things about their coworkers, because I did it, to be honest with you. I spent 25 years in the safety industry. Mm-hmm. 20 years of it was being a safety coordinator and a safety director. And I've seen and heard of people that have hung in belts for long periods of time.
Yeah.
Causes major medical conditions. Because all your blood runs to your feet, and you can't ever get it pumped back up. So right. I invented the thing because I seen a need.
And there's so many different people that are using this. I mean, this is, you said trees, but immediately I'm thinking of industrial, any kind of warehouse, the antennas. I used to know a guy that would climb up those 300-foot antenna things. And
I never think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And OSHA come out some guidance about it in 2011. And whenever I read the guidance, I thought, there's really something wrong with this document, because all it did was, in the guidance that OSHA put out, it says you must get to them as quickly as possible. Mm-hmm. And then they listed the symptoms and how to treat them.
From the hanging.
Yeah.
Oh, not even the falling, the hanging piece.
Just the hanging piece. And I'm thinking, okay, that's not good. So we need to fix that. Mm-hmm. So that's just the way I'm geared. I thought, okay, how do we fix it? And good Lord put it in my head and said, okay, that'll work.
Right.
So, it's been a journey. That was, I've been thinking about this probably for 13, 14 years now. So.
And when did you finally take it to market?
I took it to market 2 years ago. Okay. It's done pretty well. You're a marketing person. You get tickled at this, but I had a good friend of mine. He said, when I first made the belt, and if you'll look at the website, it's yellow. Right? Because that's what I knew. I said, well, I'll just make it out of yellow, because most of construction and stuff is made out of yellow belts. And I said, sure. And he looked at me and said, you need to make that in camo. And I said, deer can't see yellow, which they can't, right? And he said, you're not selling it to the deer, are you? And I said, guess you have a point.
Right.
So we're going to make them. We've actually got some of them made now, and they're made in camo. Okay. And and that helps. Right. And that, being a marketing person, you don't know that. But I thought that was kind of tickling,
Yeah.
So,
And you have some distributors who have come on board. I saw that on the website.
yeah, the distributors.
Or some places that you're selling them.
Yeah. I'm trying to get into several distribution. They're safety supply stores is what they are. So, yeah, and they have them and they got them out there, but you really have to kind of push the product to get it out the door. So.
And who do you think is your first customers?
First customers would probably be, the biggest would be the commercial end of it. Second would be the hunting and fishing stores. Whenever I went through Activate Oklahoma Farm Bureau, I put a plug in for them. Very, very, very good to go through. We did a market analysis on it, and there was $23.8 billion sold in the world of fall protection in 2023, right? And that equates to 620, in the United States only, there was 620 million belts, just the harnesses sold.
Wow. And not the high-tech kind like yours.
No, there's nothing
Just
on
a
the
belt.
market. Yeah, those are just belts.
Yeah.
See, in the fall arrest system, so you'll know, there are 3 parts to it. There's an anchorage point, there's a suppression lanyard, and then there's a harness. So what bay block is going to be the 4th part.
Okay.
And that's basically that's why. And I know for a fact it takes time to get everything out there. And I know it's going to make money in time, but that's not why I did it, Lindsay. And people need to understand that about me. I will stand up and yell it for years. Don't get me wrong, the money's nice and the money's a necessary evil, I call it. But it's a good necessary evil. But if I can keep one person from hanging and save one guy's life, I'm good.
Yeah, I believe you. I sat through an OSHA presentation, so for our work facility, right?
Yeah.
They came in and talked to us, even though no one, my marketing assistant, is really putting their body in danger on a daily basis, but we still had to go through it. And he was talking about falls, and I think there had been one fatality on his watch, and it really stuck with him.
It actually makes a very, very deep impression on you.
Yeah.
I was a safety coordinator for a drilling company, and we had 3 fatalities in 1 year.
Oh, yeah.
And I knew the guys. I'd been out and I used to teach a class, and it was a safety class, and I had them in my classes.
Right.
And it makes an impression on you because you think about it and you think, man, that shouldn't happen.
Right. How can I fix this? How can I make it better?
Yeah, how can you fix it? And that's just the way, people always tell me the mind of an inventor. They're fix-it people. That's the best way I can explain it, because you'll think of a problem and you say, okay, why did that happen and how can we fix it? So that's just the way I am. My wife can tell you that.
And then you came up with the Zach. And where did you put it at? So
it's in that briefcase.
Okay, I'll grab it really quick. So we do have some people that'll watch the video so that you can show it.
Yeah. This is the Zach. It's actually made to OSHA and ANSI specs. OSHA and ANSI dictate your fall arrest and all the fall protection. So this is actually an anchorage point. So it's strong enough to be there. In other words, it takes a 5,000 pound anchorage point. I think this has a 3,000 pound working load limit. So that means that it'll come apart. We actually pull tested to destruct it because I wanted to know. So it pull tested to 9650. So that gives it a 3,000 pound working load. It will hold a truck if you wanted to hold a truck.
Okay, so whenever this is in that 4-part system.
Yes, this is where the anchorage point is.
Okay.
Right here, and you tie off to it, and then you hook into this with your fall protection.
Okay.
And so whenever you fall, It does that.
And then what happens?
Then what's inside here will Bluetooth to your phone, will send an API to your phone, and the app on your phone will send the text message.
To say something's happened.
Oh yeah, it'll say, it'll actually say Zach has detected a fall, and then it will list the coordinates, and you click on the coordinates, and it'll take you directly to Google Maps.
Wow. Okay, so you put that back in. So is that reusable then?
Yes, it's completely reusable.
Okay, so it's
All
not
you
like a
have to
one-time
do-
use.
No, it's not a one-time use deal. I've made it that way. All you have to do is plug it back in and make sure the belt is inspected.
Okay.
This is actually a sling. Okay, so whenever you use a sling, you inspect it daily. That's all you have to do with this. And then you plug it back in and go back to work.
Wow.
You reset it. The on and off buttons right here.
Oh, yeah. That's easy enough.
Yeah, and then you turn it on. They can't see this, but I'll show you.
Yeah.
Turn it on. Connect it. It's blue.
That was so fast.
Yep. And then you list your emergency contacts.
Yeah.
You can pick them straight out of your phone.
Okay.
You can pick up to 5 of them. So you can even search them.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll pick me. There I am.
Nice.
So then you'll say send text. And what this is a feature I put in there for deer hunters, because a lot of times guys go out in deer stands and nobody knows where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
And their wives sit there and worry about them, right?
Yeah.
So you can actually send a text and push that. And what that's going to do, it will actually, it's my description. But anyway, it will actually send a text message out, and it'll pull their first name off the website because they register it.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll say, Zach, it'll pull their name off and say, I am Joseph, I'm at this location, and Zach is armed. I don't know why I did that, but we'll see.
That's really great.
Yeah, and then once it detects a fall, it'll send another text message out. There they are.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll say,
And it has the location.
boom.
Oh, that's so perfect. That looks easy too.
Yeah, it's extremely easy.
Yeah. Well, and since you brought up the subscription, what is the pricing for?
The pricing it's free. That's something that's weird. Apple is really, really strange to deal with sometimes. I hope they're not listening, but they are. Google's really easy, and Google said, yeah, you can give it away free. So I just put it on there free. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Apple says you have to be a viable business and you have to charge for it for so many years. I said, sure. And I said, what's the least I can charge? And they said, $5.99 a month. I said, well, put it on there. That's what we did.
Okay.
So if you're an Apple user, then if you want to buy the product, then, I'll make it right with you on subscription. I'm not worried about that.
You get a little discount on the product. if you're an
Yeah,
Apple user.
it's really kind of weird, that they would do that, but they do.
Yeah. So they buy the belts, and then essentially that comes with like this account, whether it's free or not, right?
Yeah,
and then they can email you and work that out, and then they have the connection there.
Yeah, I put it on my pitch deck. It's free because I get, Apple, I'll just give them $60 and be done with it.
Right.
I'm not worried about that.
And then I also saw that you have an accessory that goes along with the Zach too. So what does that do?
The accessories, it's just a tree strap.
Oh, okay.
It goes around the tree because a lot of guys they'll use bungee cords and everything else to tie off with. And yeah, that's not safe. So I've got a safe tree strap that they can go around a tree and hook onto it, and they'll know what to hook onto.
Okay.
They're not very much. I don't really make any money off of them. I just put them out there.
Right.
And then, but it's got a lithium ion battery in it. You plug it in, just plug it in the wall. I get a cord, a charger, a deal to plug in the wall. And you turn it on, plug it in, and the device has to be turned on because it goes through a little computer board and it's got a voltage regulator in it.
Okay.
So you can leave it plugged in. It will not overcharge the battery because a lot of times with lithium ions and stuff like that, they'll say, well, you'll blow up the battery. I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So.
Seems like you thought of all of the things.
Well, you'd be surprised what you think of whenever you go into this, and then you say, well, I want to do this product, and the guy looks at you and says, well, you got to do this, this, and this, and this. So you got all that done, and he says, well, I don't know if that's going to work or not. You may have to change that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a very, very lengthy process. I will say that.
I'm sure of it. And now you've had it available for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then what's the next steps for Bayblock?
Next step for Bayblock is I'll keep putting it out there. I am the only person that's ever marketed it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have somebody like you.
Right.
Not yet. And that's one reason I'm going to the OMB to ask for some backing to where I can put it on, get the marketing, because I was going to tell this at the last. It's one of the things I'll tell you at the last, but you got the best product in the world. And it can even save lives. Mm-hmm. And you'll never get it to market. And I don't understand that. I really don't. I think that I understand marketers got to make money, and lawyers have to make money, and engineers have to make money. But it shouldn't be that way. It really shouldn't, because all you do is a country or anything, that's all you do is stifle innovation. Mm-hmm. So when Bayblock makes it, which I know it is, I have full faith in it, it's going to make it. But when it makes it, I'm going to take part of that money, because I'm 68 years old. I'm not going to need. I'm comfortable. I don't, Mm-hmm. I'm going to take some of that money and I'm going to make some block grants available.
I love that.
To where it's not so hard.
Yeah.
I'm one of the lucky ones. You would not believe how many people that I know that actually walk in those inventor circles that have some of the best products in the world. Mm-hmm. And they'll never make it because they don't have it. They don't have the backing.
Right, absolutely. And here you are with an actual physical product.
I have, and it's taken a lot of money, but I've got some angel backers, angel backers that's helped me a whole bunch.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here if it hadn't been for them. And I know that. Hadn't been for them and the good Lord, let's put it that way.
Absolutely.
Because we've always found a way to get there.
Yeah, right. That's the truth. And so at the OVF luncheon, you're asking for investors, like a formal round, essentially.
Yep.
Do you have a certain amount you're looking for, or?
I'll be around $750,000.
Yeah. And that goes into marketing and what else?
I have some other ideas, development of products.
Yeah.
I have an idea that I call it the Gabe. I've got it on a website, but I got it turned off right now. But basically what it'll do, I want to make it about the size of a pencil. And it won't catch you. Mm-hmm. That's not what it's for. But it'll actually text people because you can hook it on your belt loop. And if you're on a motorcycle, three-wheeler. Yeah. I really thought about it whenever I heard of kids turning three-wheelers over. And I thought, man, that's got to stop.
Yeah.
And you was talking about names a while ago. I was driving down the road and I thought about it and I said, well, if you're going to make one like this, you're going to have to get another name, right? And I said, okay, what am I going to do? And all of a sudden it come up in my head and I said, well, what's the product does? And it just alerts you. So I named it after the angel Gabriel. Mm-hmm. Because that's exactly what he did. He alerted people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that'll be named that one. And then I have one that I've actually been working on too. It's for dementia patients, which they have them right now, and they're either a pad that the patient lays on, or it's a button that they put on their shirt.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever a patient raises up, it'll go off at the nurse's station, and they'll know that the dementia patient's trying to get out of bed.
Yeah.
So I know that because my mother died of dementia. So anyway, but I want to come up with something. So everybody's got a garage door at their house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the little red light that goes in front of your garage, you know that's a switch.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you break that switch, the door goes off.
Right.
So we're going to do it with that, and we're going to put it in front of the bed, and whenever their feet hit the floor, you'll know it.
I like it. Great idea.
Because you don't want to know whenever they raise up out of the bed.
You know, when
You
they
really
get
don't
up.
want to know when they turn over.
That's
right?
fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Because they
Right.
can turn over 15, 20 pounds at times a night.
Absolutely.
So
That's fair.
it'll solve a lot of false alarms. And this one does too. There is a product out there that there's a couple of products. One of them's Blackline. And what it does, it works off an anemometer.
Mm-hmm.
And but if you get up out of your chair too fast, sometimes it'll go off. There's a lot of false alarms.
Right.
This one you will not have false alarm.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. With the way that it fits in there. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, a lot of people say, well, how many pounds it takes 17 pounds for that to come apart. And if you have 17 pounds against your fall protection,
Mm-hmm.
you're not using it right.
Yeah.
Basically.
Right. That's
So,
fair. Yeah. Absolutely.
So anyway, that's why I built it that way. And I thought to myself, well, kids can't get in harnesses until they weigh about a harness. The smallest harness you can get is like 38 pounds.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm covered there.
Right. So you're asking for help with financing. What else are you coming to the luncheon for and asking people when you're pitching?
Just financing and for me to get Bay Block going. Because I know if it was in the right market and it was and I could get it there, it's going to take off.
Yeah. So think of, our audience is statewide and it's vast. We have manufacturers, of course, we have oil and gas, we have technology, we have all of these things. So are there connections that our community can make for you? And if they are, like what does that look like?
Drilling companies, anybody that makes safety directors, anybody that makes that decision.
Okay.
A lot of times safety directors and safety professionals, they don't really make that decision. It all comes out of operations. Mm-hmm. So, drilling companies on a high level would be like drilling companies and construction companies. Oh gosh, window washers, tree trimmers. I mean, you would not believe how many places it could go.
Right.
And I just, I make telephone calls and go down, when I'm going down the road, but I can't. There's no way. There's not but one of me. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so think about, having the knowledge you have, like taking a product to market and all of these things. So if there's someone that were going to be in your shoes one day, what would be the advice you would give them?
Number one thing is be honest. Be honest with yourself. You can, like I said, you can go through this and number two thing is have a lot of patience. And, ask for help. There's a lot of guys out there that have really, really good ideas and they never, ever ask for help because they'll beat on their chest and say, no, I'll do this. A lot of things you can't do now. Mm-hmm. It's changed. It really has changed from whenever I grew up and I was your age or, 30s and 40s. It really has changed in the world about marketing and stuff. Because I didn't know whenever I got in this, I didn't know that you could have a product, even like mine, and never get it there. Mm-hmm. Have you noticed that? To where
Absolutely. That there's a different formula, right? Because it's not just founder-led sales, which I think a lot of times is how it's supposed to be. But
Yeah. And I've met a lot of people on the way that are founders, and I've made some good friends. I'll tell you one funny story before we leave. But I pitched it to the Department of Defense, which is a good deal, right? But it was text is what it was. But so I got ready to pitch it, and then I walked into up there at Grove State where they had it. And so I walked in this room and got to talking to this guy. And you know me, I never meet a stranger anyway. And so I went up there and introduced myself. And he said, well, his name was Joe. And I said, well, my name's Joe too, right? And so he looked at me and said, well, where are you from? I said, Corn. And I grew up in a little old town called Cooperton. He said, Joe Meyers, is that you? And it was Joe Buchanan. He grew up about 12 miles away from me. So you take a town that probably has, at one time had 400 people in it, and now it has like 4.
Yeah.
And it's that small. And you've got 2 inventors that come out of there. Think about that.
That's a pretty good percentage.
I mean, you know.
Something in the water?
I don't know about that. I really don't. I think mainly it's the way we were raised, because I knew his dad. His Stanley was his dad. And my dad and him used to, you know, but I never really knew him because he was quite a bit younger, you know. Yeah. But I think more of it is a work ethic.
Yeah.
Because,
I agree.
You know, because my dad always told me, he said, if you get a hold of something, don't quit until you're through. Mm-hmm. When you get through, then walk away. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a country girl from Uwaga, and I've said that a whole lot, that I'm very grateful for how I was raised, because we work different.
It is different. It's crazy, you know. I don't know how to explain it, but I don't know if, you know, and I'll tell you this, I may not want it on a podcast, but I'll tell you this. I think we did it as a generation. I think we did it to ourselves. Mm-hmm. Because whenever I went to be honest with you, I don't have anything besides a high school education. My dad wanted me to go to college. My mother really wanted me to go to college. My mother had a doctorate degree before she passed away. She was the deputy director of authorization and standardization at Fort Sill. Yeah. So she was very highly educated, right?
Right.
But, you know, I just never did. I thought, nah, I don't want to go. But it has to do, because that's what we were told as kids. We said, don't do what I did. It's too hard.
Yeah.
You go get you a college education. Right?
Yeah, it's true.
And so now we've got a bunch of college educated people, and nobody knows how to turn a wrench. And that's scary.
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
it is.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
It is. It's very scary.
Yeah. No, I do. I think that's really good advice. And thank you for sharing that all with us.
You bet. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So Joey will be at our November 12th Oklahoma Venture Forum luncheon at Innovation District. It is, if you want more information about Zach and Joseph Meyers, you go to bay-block.com and you can find out all the information about what he's building and get in touch with him. So we'll see you November 12th.